and welcome to this reading where today we are asking the question, why are people grateful for you? So I do have 3 different groups for you to choose from today. And as you are making your choice, as always, I invite you to take a deep breath, filling your lungs all the way from the bottom to the top. And exhaling, relaxing the shoulders and softening the jaw. And letting your heart and your intuition guide you to whichever reading is best for you today. And once you're ready, I'll meet you there. Hello, Group 1. So Group 1, the first message that I'm getting for you is that people are grateful for you because they gain new understanding, even understanding of what's hidden or mysterious through their interaction with you. And this might even be about things that they are unwilling to admit, and I'm wanting to explore what that could mean. Someone being unwilling to admit something that they are gaining understanding of. I think perhaps for some people you reveal their unconscious patterns to them and they might feel embarrassed to acknowledge it. Maybe they're just feeling a little guarded, but also taking the understanding in and engaging with it at their own pace. I'm getting the sense that in the same way that a mushroom can be food, or it can be a mind-altering substance, or it can be a poison, people are cautious about the way that their understanding feels opened or redirected by their interaction with you. And yet, there is still this curiosity, even at the same time as this caution and a draw to try and understand you. You might feel to whoever that this is, who is somehow feeling grateful for you, you might feel as though you come from a different world to them. So, I mean, it could be that you're from a different culture, or maybe you just don't follow the same societal norms as them. And I'm getting for some specific people watching this that you have impacted someone who carries a particular type of trauma, which may have left some part of them feeling quite closed off and self-protecting. But for some reason, the way that you conduct yourself has them re-examining some of their relationship to things. And even though they really don't want to be pushed beyond what feels safe for them, they are to some extent allowing your presence or your actions to have some influence on their understanding of things. And I think that this may be rather remarkable because I think that this is a group of people or an individual who feel very strongly about protecting their mental peace or their well-being, or protecting something about their ideas or their ideology. So this is a very interesting thing to have people feel grateful about Group 1. I think that in quite a few cases, whoever this is has probably had to navigate some pain or conflict around whatever it is that you are gently shifting their awareness on. And because of whatever hurt they have in their hearts about that conflict, they're feeling somewhat grateful to have the different outlook or perspective presented in a way that isn't actively challenging them, but is letting them engage with it at their own pace. I feel as though this is allowing for some new possibilities or potential new understanding. But I also think that the new potential is very much in its infancy. It's in a tenuous and a fragile stage of development. And so if you were to act rashly in any kind of way, then whoever this is, they might let it go. They might scrap this new possibility or the new opening or understanding and go back to their well-fortified perspective. So I think they're also watching you to see if you're going to be safe. And I am picking up some real pain or caginess from this group or this person because they don't want to be asked to sacrifice what they care about or what they've protected. There's some way in which they need to have their experience or their point of view held with honor. And if they feel that they are being treated without respect, they're likely to shut down. It's as though they're putting out feelers to get a sense of you and staying very alert to all that they might be noticing. But I also feel that people are grateful to you because they like having the opportunity to learn in this way. They're curious, and they're maybe even feeling some relief or joy about what they see with you. I have the impression of someone telling their friends about some way that you have intrigued them, and other people becoming curious to listen or find out what it is that you're representing. It's as though there is something in whoever this is that has been looking for an outlet for some part of them which had been for some reason subdued until they saw this way forward represented by your energy. And that could be a group of people who have been wanting to connect or express something in a different way but couldn't figure out how, even how to bring out something more heart-centered into whatever their environment is. Or it could be an individual who is able to bring out something more playful or expressive, or something softer and more emotive because of what they're experiencing with you. There is an allowance for something with the inner child here. It's reminding me of the way that children just play with each other before they get caught up in trying to conform to social rules or looking or behaving in a certain way. And so something in some of you is bringing out that kind of soft or connective or playful impulse for whoever this is, where one can be excited to connect with others simply because we're curious and feel like we could have a sweet time together. But I also feel like they're trying to understand if you can stay with their darkness or the parts of them which are wrapped up in things that not everyone could understand or have the wherewithal to meet without judgment. Because there are some parts of them, parts of why they are the way they are, or the complicated tangle of influences on their history, which if people just heard about it without having a greater context for what they've been through, they might pass a snap judgment on this person or this group. And this group or person, they are not willing to be shamed by anyone who can't understand the layers of intensity or experience which built those parts of them. I feel as though it would really be special for whoever this is to feel safe and cared for and unjudged as they unravel this part of them. And I also feel for some that they are listening to their intuition, or they're listening to advice about you. They are willing to be given insight on you, either from spirit or from other sources that they trust, and that's going to inform how they see you. And I feel like it's maybe also going to humanize you to whoever this is, and let it be okay for you to make errors or have your own baggage that you're working with. I feel like maybe they also need you to be human and fallible too, in order for this connection, whatever it is, to be able to grow further, so that they're not putting you on a pedestal or feeling like there is an imbalance in quote unquote, how good you are compared to them. Now, I am also seeing some disappointment or some stuckness here, so I'm trying to understand how this is playing into what people are grateful for with you. So, okay, there's something about personal evolution. If we go back to the idea that you are somehow opening people's awareness, then part of what interacting with you has given these people is a way to get out of their own heads, or a way to move beyond mental or emotional patterns which had been holding them back or limiting their possibilities in some way. This could even be them gaining new tools to handle difficult situations so that they don't repeat the same cycle over and over. I'm also getting for some of you that they're able to find new appreciation for themselves so that they are not feeling as though they need to chase the same level of external reassurance or external validation that they might have been searching for before. And I feel like they may be choosing to be more careful with what they do feed into themselves and the ways they do fill their cup moving forward, because it matters to them that it will be life-sustaining and empowering or nurturing to who they want to be. So that could even be developing healthier habits or being much more aware of how they talk to themselves. I feel like there has opened up the possibility of a far more liberated experience of life for these people, where they're able to kind of spread their wings and enjoy more freedom. And this is because of these patterns which you have shown them are holding back their thinking or their emotions. It could be ways that they were guarding themselves that were stopping them from accessing more joy. And I do feel that some of them have had to sit with their hearts and become aware of the mental habits which used to keep them more limited. And I feel that you may have shown them that they do still have these precious parts of them which they get to appreciate about themselves and know that they have this goodness, as well as opening their eyes to seeing the goodness around them and the kindness of the universe even. So I'm quite curious about this opening or this evolution of understanding, because I feel as though Spirit wants to say more about that. You know what? Group 1, I feel like you might have given whoever this is something which feels precious to them in a way which makes them feel excited to move forwards. Spirit is showing me this very cute energy, like a child with a treasure who is kind of facing the world going, the world is still confusing and sometimes scary, but now I have my treasure and nobody gets to take my treasure because it's mine. This is kind of like you showed them some aspect of themselves, which is really wonderful. And so they're not going to let go of the understanding that they have this wonderful side to them. Or if it's not that, it is something like you giving them a new understanding about something else, and now they're feeling like they have a new way to interact with something that they used to find difficult because they have this new and more diverse comprehension of what they're engaging with. And it feels on some level like this is knowledge that they were hungry for. For example, if you were working with an organization and they kept having a particular problem with their staff over and over again, with different members, the same problem, just keeping on coming up. Maybe you gave them new techniques to address this situation, and so even though they were initially cagey about trusting you, now they're excited to implement these changes because they understand how it can work. Or if this is a friend who kept having a similar problem in their relationships, they would not have been open to you judging them about it, but once they can see that you are staying with them and not acting like this is something shameful, they're feeling like you gave them some insight which they can use in the future, or they're feeling like they have a better understanding of what they have to offer or what makes them special. I feel like for others, there was a time when they were really only open to one source of information, but you've helped them see that there are a variety of different perspectives which they can use to inform their understanding of things, and this has somehow shifted their view of the world. I also feel something very gentle here, like they might just be really appreciating that the interaction with you hasn't been jarring, or they're grateful that they get to be in a moment of respite or appreciation. I feel as though whoever this is, they feel that they have more clarity moving forward. They feel more confidence, and maybe, like, the narratives in their mind are more kind than they used to be. It feels like they're able to honor the past and the pain which used to inform their choices, but they're less stuck guarding themselves against threats which are no longer present. It's as though you took the tension out of their minds and left flowers instead. This could be the tension of feeling like they were going to be abandoned or condemned, but you showed them care and consistency instead. Or it could be the tension of feeling like the same problem was going to come up over and over again, but you made them feel that there were easier ways to approach it which wouldn't get so twisted. So, group 1, this is pretty much the message that I am getting for you here. You have somehow slightly shifted, whoever this is, their perspective on something, and it's made something flow a little more easily, or it's given them more options for feeling some ease and some gentleness in the future. And even though they do still really care about protecting themselves and not being confronted in a painful way, they have this gratitude towards what you have shown them. So I'm going to leave you here for today. Thank you so much for coming to this reading. Of course, if you resonated with it and you would like to give me some energy in exchange, then please do like the video or leave me a comment to let me know what resonated, because I am absolutely a nerd about these different stories that we are living, and so it's so interesting to me to hear all kind of the different ways that these energies can show up in our lives. And of course, it helps me on YouTube as well, and with my very, very baby little channel here. So I'll say goodbye for today and wish you all the very best. Hello, group 2. So, group number 2, I feel that people are grateful for the way that you bring things together. Maybe you're someone who can take things that appear disconnected and bring them together in a surprising way, or a way that others would not have thought of. And I'm also getting a feeling of such peace and calm from this group, as though you not only do this with a really clear mind, but you also do it in a way that is not at all inflamed or disruptive. So maybe that's important because others who have tried to do the same have done so with some level of upset or disharmony, Maybe you are introducing different ideas into an environment, or maybe you're helping to ground or calm the way that things are already being perceived. This could be that there's something which someone or some group are feeling threatened by in some way, but the way that you approach it makes them feel as though this can actually be integrated, and maybe integrated more smoothly than they were anticipating. You know, sometimes in our culture, even in the culture of a small group or workplace, we can get it into our minds that something is wrong, some behavior or way of looking at things is unacceptable or won't work. And part of what I see you doing is taking the sting out of that situation and making it so that the social pressure is lessened. And I think that that's really wonderful, Group 2, because you're actually letting people have the chance to drop their guard a bit, which can be so important when there's part of us longing for healing or softening, but feeling like we can't find it because we have to keep protecting ourselves. I feel that the softening of perspective that you are allowing here is also creating the possibility that entirely new ways of looking at things or entirely new approaches or agreements could be found. If whoever this is that is feeling grateful for you wants to open up the way they do things or incorporate different information or practices. It's funny because I'm getting the impression that you are seen as somehow other than whoever is feeling grateful for you. You're being perceived as having a different type of wisdom, and I'm not seeing that they want to adopt your way of being completely, or even that they could, but in being exposed to the way that you are, they are realizing that there can be more than one thing that works, more than one valid approach to things. This even reminds me of different energy systems meeting one another. So an example coming to mind would be a meeting between someone who practices traditional Chinese medicine and is well versed in, meridians and qigong and acupressure and all of that school of wisdom, and someone who practices Ayurveda and knows how to work with doshas, or someone practicing yoga and working with chakras. So if these different practitioners meet, they might be interested in the ways that each other's systems of medicine and energy all achieve healing results for the people that they work with. Or I think of people coming together from different religions and recognizing that they may share core values of peace and compassion, even though their relationship to the spiritual world might look strikingly different from the outside, like a Buddhist practitioner who does not believe in any central creator deity meeting a Christian for whom God holds the highest power. These two practitioners might still have a beautiful capacity to work towards peace and harmony, not just amongst themselves, but for their lay populations as well. And of course, your situation may have nothing to do with systems of medicine or religion, but the point is that whoever is feeling grateful for you right now, part of what they're appreciating so much is that you are still meeting them where they are with respect, even though you might hold quite different views on what works in this world or how to go about getting things done. Maybe for some of you, someone is appreciating that you're showing up for them while they are in crisis. And even though they are not feeling like there is a way forward, you are there to hold the understanding for them that there is another side to this, or that once they have moved through this challenge, there will be good things waiting for them again. Whoever this is, you're showing them that there is more, that more is possible than what they're experiencing now. And I keep hearing the word wisdom. They're seeing you as someone with a lot of wisdom, or someone whose wisdom they know they don't fully understand. And I also feel for some of you, like right now, they're quite focused on that. Like they'd like to learn more or get a better sense of what makes you tick and what it is that you know, because they feel like you're holding something which could be helpful to them, even if it's mostly because they see that you have this level of tranquility that they are feeling they lack. Something in them is calling them to kind of study you, because it's like they're feeling some resonance with you that they can't quite pinpoint. And at the same time, they're feeling like they can't access all of you, that they're only able to see a little bit, but maybe that's enough to get them pondering their own relationship to things. It feels as though something about you is also giving hope to whoever this is. Maybe they really buried themselves in despair or convinced themselves that there was no way for them to have or do certain things. And with you, they're feeling a spark of potential, suddenly opening a little bit to the idea that maybe there is a way forward for them, or a way to engage with something that they had maybe given up hope about. I feel as though if this was someone or some group that were set in their ways to whatever extent, you're making them feel like there could be a different kind of idea available to them, and even if it only means they make some small change within their circumstances, this still feels like they get to engage with a different level of autonomy or freedom within their choices. This could even be one individual within a collective who somehow disagree with you, the collective disagree with you, but this one person sees you and understands what you're doing, and even though they're not going to break away from their group or their shared culture, they're still taking some value from seeing the difference in your perspective, because again, something about this is resonating for them or waking something up for them that their soul already knows, or some part of them already felt was possible, but they hadn't ever seen anyone fully representing that way of being. I feel as though for some they're grateful that you are willing to connect with them despite your apparent differences. It kind of feels as though most of the people who are grateful for the collective with group 2, they maybe aren't going to change their practices or change what they're doing, but they're grateful that you're with them anyway, or centering peace in your connection anyway. And I kind of feel like a lot of them are not going to express that to you. Maybe they haven't even identified that they are feeling grateful to you about it. Like maybe they are just feeling relieved that this is staying peaceful, or maybe they've been given so many reasons to stay guarded over the years that they're basically going to stay within their guard, but they're still appreciating something about your connection. Maybe for some it's like if they had met you earlier, things would have been different, or if this interaction with you had happened at a different time in their life, they might have had more energy to give towards it. But where they're at right now, they're conserving their energy, or they're staying with their primary commitment, whether that's to themselves or their culture or their family or whatever. But I feel like they are viewing you with some love and feeling grateful that they met you or that they had this interaction with you, because it brings a little softness or relaxing of their perspective. I feel like you've also shown this person that sometimes letting go can be beautiful. Sometimes letting things happen in a peaceful way, even when there's some grief or sorrow in the process, can be the most meaningful way we can engage with things. It's like sometimes things do have to end or change. Sometimes situations are unsustainable, but we have options for how we let that happen. We can rage and fight and burn things down, or we can cling to things that we're attached to. But we can also peacefully dismantle things and leave room for new possibilities to grow. This is like you have brought beauty into the ending of something rather than total destruction. And for this person, there is something relational to that, their relationship to you or whomever. But there's also something within themselves which is new to them, which is the understanding that an ending or a change can be a loving process. For some of them, this even feels like a gift from the universe, which is the experience that they can find or change their boundaries without it meaning that a relationship ends. There is a maintenance of appreciation for the good parts of something, even if some of it has to change. Almost like a broader and kinder perspective which says, life is still beautiful. The time that we've shared together is still beautiful, even if it changes or is temporary. It feels like there's a lot of care here, a lot of tenderness for the understanding that sometimes things don't work out, but they can still be meaningful, and we can still appreciate all that is wonderful about them. Or this might be helping them see that even though something they cared about has gone, there is something left in them that is more wonderful because of what they had. Maybe you have an ability to navigate loss with grace, and they've learned something from you about not railing against their fate. That could be some of the wisdom you hold, which maybe was not part of their cultural understanding before, but from you they're picking up this trust in the process or this trust in the universe to stay with them through their hardship. I feel that in you they have seen this self-contained ability to work peacefully with letting go and allowing yourself to be replenished in a new way. For some of you, this could be someone you're in the process of breaking up with, perhaps because your differences are too great, but you're still undertaking this process with kindness and appreciation for all you've been able to share together. For others, this is someone going through their own process of grief, but they're learning something from you about doing so with ease or with grace. And there could also be something here about learning to fill your own cup. There could be some of you either navigating away from a codependent dynamic with someone, or helping someone do that for themselves. So again, with this group, just like with group 1, I'm feeling like Spirit is wanting to show me what comes next, after this process has been worked through. And with that, the first thing that I'm seeing is that when this process is complete, this person is grateful to you for helping them see how much they have to be proud of in their own self. This does feel linked to that message about codependence or relying on others for one's sense of worth or value, because I think this person is going to start recognizing their own unique intelligence and experience of this world in a way that naturally makes them feel self-assured and self-reliant. They are uncovering the power of their own gifts and experience and learning to feel deep appreciation for themselves. They may be leaning into their own material and emotional independence, letting go of the idea that they need to rely on anyone else for their well-being. And this may be a deeper sense of strength and confidence that they feel within themselves, even as they remain in the same social setting as before. But they are simply letting go of comparing themselves to others or trying to fit some image of whatever people are meant to be. Or it may be a more grounded and comfortable relationship to others in general, ceasing to catastrophize as much, trusting their ability to get through things. This may even be a deeper understanding of the universe, a deeper trust and insight into the flow of energy and manifestation. And again, I'm getting this sense that even though they're kind of staying within their own world, they are grateful to have met you, grateful that your minds have touched and expanded each other's understanding. I feel like some of them are even grateful that you didn't try to pretend to be all that they were looking for. You communicated your own limitations or differences. It feels like in some cases they're feeling like there's a possibility of building a new understanding with more realistic expectations, either of each other or within their own world. And I feel like they're also able to take the measure of their own feelings, but without asking you to take responsibility for their experience. There seems to be space being allowed for each person to have their own process. Maybe for some of you, this is someone disengaging from the idea that everyone is naturally going to be on the same page about some things, while recognizing the validity of each individual point of view. And for some of you, even though this person is acknowledging that they have to work on their own thing right now, they're still grateful for the connection with you. This feels like a meeting between two quite different minds or points of consciousness, but there's still so much respect between the two. And it may be a meeting which has opened up new and beautiful levels of awareness for both parties. So group 2, I am really appreciating the energy which is coming out in this reading, which is showing individuals who are going deeper into their self-awareness and their self-trust and doing this in a more calm or a more grounded way. It seems like a very worthy energy to be bringing out, and I can see why people are feeling grateful to you if this is something that you are helping to bring into their lives, whether that's through your example or through interacting with you, even, through going through a challenge with you. So I'm going to wrap it up here for today, and I am so grateful that you came to listen to this reading today. And if it did resonate with you and you would like to exchange some energy with me to give back for that, then please do leave a comment, engage with YouTube in the ways that make it so that this will be able to reach more people. And as always, I will wish you all the very best. Hello, Group 3. Group 3, the first energy that I am getting for you feels so playful and fun. It feels as though you treat life as an adventure. Some of you might be really expressive in how you dress or style yourself, and people like being around it. I'm also getting a sense of optimism from you, which people really enjoy. I feel like people are sometimes asking, where did this person even come from? I get the impression that you are a pleasant surprise, or you're quite different than expected. I'm also getting that you are willing to try things. You're up for exploring and meeting people where they're at. It's like a very enticing energy too, like you're inviting people maybe out of their comfort zones. Or like you are the friend who hears that someone has always wanted to try something and you're like, yeah, let's do it. I also feel you may be someone who can hold things lightly, who is able to not be too serious about things, and it gives people around you the opportunity not to be so serious as well. Maybe you're someone who kind of sees life as a game, so you're not getting caught up in worrying and being stern about things. You're just exploring and learning and having fun. You might also be really funny and share a lot of laughs with people, because I'm kind of getting that feeling of laughing until you cry. And I think that there are people who you do this with who love that. And you may also be really creative and able to adapt to lots of different situations. But what's funny too is that I'm also getting the impression that you are surprisingly sure-footed and able to navigate things unexpectedly well. It's like when you see footage of mountain goats climbing an almost sheer rock face with ease. There's this feeling that's like, how on earth is that being doing that safely? And yet they are. I think that people can have that feeling about you, like how on earth are they doing that with so much ease and confidence? I feel like you're also capable of going places a lot of people don't. And that could be literally, but it could also be socially, like inhabiting a level of comfort when addressing or bringing up topics that other people would avoid. I feel like for you, when you see that people have it in their minds that something is going to be dangerous, you're like, ooh, let's dive in and find out what's going on. I think you can be very disarming Or maybe the way that you approach things just puts people at ease, because it's kind of like you take the sting out of some of these challenging areas or topics and make them feel accessible to address or talk about. I feel for you as well, though, that if someone has a trigger or something that is really painful within them, you can be there with them with so much compassion and friendliness and so much shared humanity. It's almost like, look what an adventure being human is. Look how intensely we are feeling about these things. I love feeling heartbroken. It's meaningful, and I have so much love for myself for feeling so much passion here in this world, in this life, in this body. Look how beautifully human I am. Look at all this amazing complexity I get to feel. And it almost feels like a glorious secret that you're letting people in on to see how beautiful and magnificent their lives are. And I just heard, as within, so without. So what I'm feeling from that is that part of why you might be excited to dive deep with people is because you know that if they have a good relationship to themselves, they will also have a good relationship to the world. It's like if there's a particular way we have been really hurt in the past, we might always be looking out for any indication that we're going to be similarly hurt in the future. So we're always looking out a little bit with our guard up, always looking for the worst in people or evidence that they might do this same kind of thing to us. And maybe we'll overreact at the slightest sign of something that reminds us of that, and then create problems within our connections because we've got this overemphasized protective energy. But that is why you're so excited to dive in with people, because you know that if they're able to soften those hurts, then their experience of the world is going to get softer too, as within, so without. Or it may be that you help people face their fears in this very competent way, and so you have this energy of being a guide that people can trust to take them to these places and help them readjust their relationship to what's there. And the part of this energy that is cracking me up is that it feels like you're so excited to do this. I literally feel like you are prancing into this complex terrain because you're so happy that people are ready and wanting to go there. And I feel as though your enthusiasm for this is so infectious that it reframes how people can engage with this. You help them to feel excited about it rather than dreading it. And another reason people are grateful for you, Group 3, is that you seem genuinely excited to know them, genuinely kind and welcoming, and you make this really loving atmosphere feel possible in a way that a lot of people might not. It feels like you hold people with such warmth and in such positive regard that they can feel this happening with you, and so there's an immediate level of trust because you're not running any stories about them not being good for any reason. And something else that people appreciate about you, is that it feels like you will wait. You'll go at their pace. It's like there's a particular type of experience that you make available to them, but if they're not ready to do it, they know that that's okay too, and that you are still going to be there for them. And it feels like you are also able to be with people when they're really going through something difficult. They are safe to express their sadness, and they know you'll hold them in compassion. I think that many of you may be very connected to the divine. It feels like you are able to bring forward the energy of the Divine Mother, being with her children when they are going through hardship. And even if you don't resonate with that particular image, you're still holding that level of gentleness, that capacity for seeing people and being with them where they are. You make people feel like they can love themselves no matter what they're going through. It's still okay for them to be kind to themselves. Group 3, it feels like you also help people change the way that they tell their own story. It's like you're able to take the pieces of their experience, no matter how difficult, and help them make something beautiful out of it so that they have a much more empowered relationship to those events. Maybe you help them leave victim mentality behind so that they can have a more active relationship with the life that they want to build. And I'm curious, do you do this by your own example? Is it that it's just how you live your life which inspires people? Or do you actually work with people to help them do this as your profession? If anyone wants to tell me, I would love to know the answer. And it also feels like you don't ever leave behind your understanding of the magic of the world. So every experience has a possibility to be magic. And I think that you help people start to move what was stuck inside them, because I'm seeing the imagery of ice thawing into water. So it tells me that maybe you help people soften the impact of trauma within their bodies or their memories, or you help them lessen the constricting impact of their fears. And I think that you also help them befriend their emotions or listen to their different emotions as meaningful and worthy messengers. But you maybe also help them learn to be less rigid about what they hear from those emotions. And what I mean by that is, say someone has had an experience which makes them feel uncomfortable. At one point in their life, they might have tried to control their environment so that they never have to feel that kind of discomfort again. But for whatever reason, your influence helps them see the emotion and listen to what it has to tell them without needing to take immediate action on it. They begin to hear themselves out in a kind way and validate what they feel without armoring up or getting defensive. And I feel like this helps them create more harmony within themselves so that their minds and hearts have an equal voice in their decision making. And maybe so that one kind of feeling isn't given a dominant position over the others. Because if we stay with the example of a person who gets defensive, maybe when they do that, they're overriding some of the more gentle feelings they have about a situation. Like, maybe if they get angry and cut someone out of their life, they are ignoring the part of them that feels more softly about it or still wants connection with that person. So maybe you help them thaw the ice wall that they have built against the part of them that feels that, so that they're more able to listen to all the different parts of them which have a voice. And it doesn't have to be the example of cutting someone out, but we do build these walls against parts of ourselves until we are ready to listen to them. And it could even be that they still would decide to end contact with that person, but they would be able to come to that decision from a more grounded place, having taken each part of what their inner voice has to say into account. So again, this feels really empowering. It's giving people the awareness to be able to engage with themselves and with their own process more fully, more calmly, and with less fear. So I am truly so curious what it is that you do which brings this forward for people. With Maya Angelou coming out to round out this card spread, I think that some of you must be in some way storytellers, as she is such an extraordinary example of a person making beauty out of their experiences, refusing to be torn down or made less than anyone else. So group 3, maybe so much of this is about the work that you yourself have done in your life to uplift your own experience. It feels like there is no one who has the right to act like you are anything less than extraordinary. And if they do act like you're less than extraordinary, maybe they will learn that whatever they projected onto you came out of their own self and their own unprocessed pain. all through this reading, it has really felt like you have amazing energy. Even with the goat card, I kept thinking of the acronym, the GOAT, meaning like standing for the greatest of all time. And I don't quite mean that you are better than others, but what it feels like is that you are an advanced soul who knows absolutely their divine worth. And you show the world, you mirror for the world their own worth and their own divinity. You uplift people by your refusal to be put down or made less than anyone else. And what you do within yourself, you do for the world. So when people meet you, they meet themselves too. And meeting you is an invitation for them to uplift themselves and treat themselves as the divine beings that they are also. And it feels like you celebrate for others when they uplift themselves. You're not stingy about it. You don't have the illusion that someone else needs to be down in order for you to be up. But you know that each being is extraordinary if they would only recognize it. You know that we are in this life together, and the more that we can recognize each being as an aspect of the divine, then the closer we are to true and loving freedom. So my goodness, group 3, what an amazing reading. What an amazing energy. I was truly feeling so buzzing inside, so excited and happy and interested. And it was such a joy to engage with this energy. So thank you. I am also grateful. Now, I am learning to ask on this little channel of mine if the reading did resonate for you and you would like to give back to me, then please do like the video or leave me a comment and let me know how it is that you do this, because I am totally intrigued by this energy. How is it that you guide people in this particular way? But otherwise, I am going to say goodbye, and I will wish you all the very best.